Chris here, and welcome to my channel. As you can see by my setup, it's time to play Phase 10 Chooses My TBR. So we're officially on the verge of December, and the last TBR game of the month is about to be played. I am very excited to dive in and see what the board has in store for me this month. Before I get to that, I should mention that I'm taking part in 2 readathons in the month of December. The first being the Reindeer Readathon. I am Team Snowflake. And the second is the Queer Lit Readathon, which runs from the 3rd through the 9th this round, and I'm very excited to be able to incorporate some queer books onto my TBR. I'm obviously also still doing Buzzwordathon, and the prompt for this month is sound-related word, and so I have chosen Whispers Beyond the Veil, and this is the first in a new series, and it is set in Canada in 1898, and it says, after fleeing a questionable past, Ruby Prulot desires a change of fortune, but her natural gift for prediction points to a future most uncertain. So this sounds like it's going to be historical fiction with a hint of maybe fantasy and mystery, so I'm very excited to check this one out. It does say historical mystery, but like when you're talking about prediction, there could be a bit of a fantasy aspect to that, even though that is not necessarily a sure earmark for a fantasy novel, because it would also depend on whether you believe that people can have premonitions and stuff like that. So this sounds right up my alley, and I'm very excited to check it out. Then I'm still doing TBR Knockout. This is the last month, obviously, and the first prompt is to read a book that was gifted to you, or gift a book. I will be giving lots of books to my little ones, so I will have this covered in many ways. But I'm also picking up a gifted book, and that is Crowfall by Vashti Hardy. I've tried to read this several different months now. This was a gift from Press. I won it in a giveaway she was doing, but she still gifted it to me. She still paid for it. I think it counts. I don't know much about this, but I've loved the Bright Storm series by Vashti Hardy, so I'm excited to hopefully finally check this one out. And then we need to read a book with a gift on the cover or in the title, and this gives me the perfect opportunity to read A Very Strange World's Christmas. I believe that's what it's called. It is a novella in the Strange Worlds travel agency series. In the picture, you can see that there is a present on the cover. I am very, very excited to be reading this. I had hoped to get to it last Christmas. It just didn't work out. So this Christmas season, I think it is finally time to read the little novella in one of my favorite series. I'll also be giving the Middle Grade March Book Club pick a try, and that is Ballet Shoes. This is a classic middle grade novel, as it was published in 1937. And it says, Pauline, Petrova, and Posey are orphans determined to help out their new family by joining the Children's Academy of Dancing and Stage Training. But when they vow to make a name for themselves, they have no idea it's going to be such hard work. They launch themselves into the world of show business, complete with working papers, the glare of the spotlight, and practice, practice, practice. Pauline is destined for the movies. Posey is a born dancer, but practical Petrova finds she'd rather pilot a plane than perform a pirouette. Say that 5 times fast. Each girl must find the courage to follow her dream. So, never heard of this book before, but it sounds like it could be an interesting book to read, and it gets a classic on my TBR, so if that prompt comes up, I've got it covered. That brings me to my nonfiction of the month, and I have a few options that I could have used for this, but I decided to go with Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. So, if you've been paying attention to pop culture news at all, you will know that Matthew Perry died last month. He was the star of the hit show Friends, which is, I think, where most people know him from, but he was also a big advocate of overcoming addiction and dealing with sobriety and stuff like that, and helping people overcome addiction, as he has been very open about his addiction problems in the past. I have heard really, really great things about this book, and it just seemed like it was a good time to read it. I requested it from the library, and it came in, so I'm going to read this in the month of December. Chandler was always my favorite character on Friends. I found him absolutely hilarious, and I'm looking forward to seeing if Matthew Perry, the person, brings some of that humor to his memoir. That being said, it is time for my TBR Jar of Doom. It has indeed been updated. I found my colored papers, so no more little white slips, which is exciting. And I'm hoping that it is nice to me this month, because I have a lot of books I would like to read. So if some of those could come out of here, that would be great. Let's see. We have... And I lost a paper, a red one. I was hoping to do this without losing a bunch of papers. I literally just got it so it wasn't papers everywhere. Ooh, a white one, so that's a newer one. And this orange one. And I should be able to read all of these as far as I know because I've been pretty up to date and I just redid my jar recently and pulled out the ones I was caught up on. So unless this is specifically a series I caught up in the last month, we should be good. This is a brand new one, Ravenfall by Kayla Josephson. I read this in my spooky vlog. Let's see if I can access book 2. So the next book in this series is Hollowthorn, and while there are copies in my library system and I have requested it, it is active, which means I could get it this month or I might not get it for 3 or 4 months. I literally got, the other day when I picked up my library books, a book I had requested in August. So, I'm going to pull something else and replace it so that I do work on 3 series, but that has been requested, so I will work on it at some point. And I'm going to replace it with this green one. Stream Raiders. I'm trying to remember what that one is. Let me check. Okay, so the reason I don't remember this one is because I read the first book in April of 2022. And I reread the description for the first book and went... And given that I gave it a 3.75 rating and have zero memory of the first book, I have decided I'm going to DNF that series. Because to read that series, I would have to reread the first book. And the first book did not make enough of an impression on me that reading the description did anything to spark a memory. So, I think this is a series I can let go of because it did not stick with me in any way, shape, or form. And I'm going to draw another one. I have so many series that if I can let go of a few, that is not a bad way to end the year either. So, we're going to draw again. That would explain why the series name was not familiar at all. The Secret Rescuers by Paula Harrison. I recognize the author's name more than I do the series name. This is going swimmingly, guys. So, literally, as I was in the process of looking this book up, I went, oh, you know what I think it is? The Sky Unicorn. So the first book is The Storm Dragon. And in the first book, this girl comes across a baby dragon and protects it from the prince and the king... No, the prince and the queen of this land who want to do away with it. And I just thought it was a really, really cute middle grade. And this is obviously the second book, and we're going to be dealing with a baby unicorn. So, it's not going to take me long. It's a real easy read. It is a series I've started a couple of the little ones in my life on, and I don't know, it's just a cute, easy read, and sometimes you need cute and easy. So, this will be on my TBR for December. We found one! Okay, so this white one should be one I at least recognize. Ooh, I like this. A Clock of Stars. So, the second book in this series is Beyond the Mountains. And we're following 2 sisters in this one who end up traveling to a different land, if I remember. Let's see. Let's crack open the plastic since I'm going to be reading this. Yes, it's Imogen and Marie, and they end up traveling to a different world. Right. I remember enjoying the first book. I say that like I read it all that long ago. I'm pretty sure it was a 5-star prediction. Well, I liked it enough to read the sequel, and I'm trying to remember exactly what the story was about in a way where I can tell you without giving things away. Like I said, I know that they were fighting, and they ended up in this different world where they kind of had to protect each other as they worked to find a way home to their mother. And this world was a little bit different from their world and had a lot of intriguing things going on. And they met a boy who was the prince, and they had to deal with him because, of course, he's their age and he was interested in them. And I remember really enjoying it. And so I'm totally down to read book 2. I think this was on my short list of books I hope to get to in the relatively near future. So I've got absolutely no problems continuing this in the month of December. I will say the size of that makes up for how skinny the first book is. And then the last series, maybe, is The Secrets of the Seven. And I know what this one is, and I might be caught up on this. Let me go check. Surprising it's still in there, because I thought I was caught up on that. Okay, so I remember this series. It follows 3 kids who win a trip, like a school trip that has something to do with the presidents, and then they get there and they're trying to stop the descendant of, I want to say, Benedict Arnold from stealing these keys that the presidents had. And the 3rd book came out in 2018, and the one comment on Goodreads said, "I'm really sad that they stopped publishing these." So, considering I don't want to get back into a series and then not be able to read the end of the story, I think I'm going to DNF this one too. Because I did that with The Familiars. I read book 4, and I am mad because there is no book 5, and book 3 felt like a very good ending spot. So I'm just not going to pick up book 3. And I keep my DNF, so I can always check to see if something has changed down the line. But I think, for now, I'm going to DNF it. And we'll pick something else. The Drowning Empire by Andrea Stewart. I'm pretty sure this is the Bone Shard Daughter series. And I have the 3rd book. And just what I needed would be another adult fantasy on my TBR. So I am on the 3rd and final book in this trilogy, and that is the Bone Shard War. I know I really liked the first 2. We follow a kingdom, I think, or empire, or land, that has the ability to create magic from using little pieces of bone shards that are pulled out from behind your ear. It is not a pleasant practice, as it drains your life force and takes years off your life, and really there's only a handful of people that can do it, and it's mainly the emperor, and he uses it to defend the kingdom, but the thing he was defending the kingdom against isn't really an issue anymore, so he really should have returned bone shards, and he didn't. And we see several different POVs, if memory serves. I know there's a thief and the emperor's daughter, which is why it's called the Bone Shard Daughter. And I think there is the daughter of a governor on a different island, and another character who I think is her girlfriend, and then I think we even have a 5th POV. Believe me, I know it well enough to read the 3rd book and not need to reread the first 2, but dang if it's not hard to explain without rereading what the first book is about, because I've read a lot of books since I read the first book in that series. I just know I enjoyed it, and while it's not what I want to be reading in the month of December, it's the end of a series, so, could be worse. And it was a series I enjoyed, so, it's just I have a lot of adult fantasies I would like to get to this month, so it would have been nice if I had gone another middle grade, but what can you do? Well, it's time to put these back. I'm going to leave Ravenfall out because I've requested the next book in the series, so I'll read it whenever it comes in, and I believe that's the most recent book. I'm fairly certain there's more in The Secret Rescuer, so I'm going to stick that back in. And then The Clock of Stars is a trilogy, so I will stick that one back in. And everything else stays out because I'm either reading the last book or I'm DNFing it. So, Everything is back in here, all ready for the first of the year in January when I get to start this process all over again. I'm thrilled. Hopefully it'll be kind to me in January, and I will have less series in there because I will have made a dent, because I am planning on getting to a few of my series in December. So that means it's time for the board. So I can tell you it's the 28th, and I only have the 7-year witch left, and I'm like halfway through that, so there's no reason I won't be getting my reward. So let's see where we're going to stick it. We're going to go with a yellow 3. Yellow 3. So here are my reward prompts, and we'll go for this one. We'll take down the prompt for yellow 3 and replace it with a pretty pink reward. Hopefully, I somehow managed to pull that and that and that and that. I don't think I need any of those numbers. No, I need a 6, because I can either use the 6 here or there, or I need a 12, because that would complete my run, and then I can, either way, I'm getting rid of the green 5. Would have been nice if it was the green 5. Okay, we've mixed the prompt back in. I obviously want a shot at getting this, so let's mix this back in and hope that I can work my mojo, because there's 2 yellow 3s in the deck. Unless I used one last month. So that means I've got 2 shots out of this entire deck to get that. Although we don't want any wilds, so we only want 10 shots. Not like 15 or 20, so. It is time to play. Phase 10 chooses my TBR. How exciting. Please be kind to me, please. Draw number 1 is a 6. There we go. There we go. Just bam. Might as well put it there. And I'll take this 5 and we'll go here. Which means I get to either remove a punishment prompt or add another reward prompt to the board. Nice. So first thing I'm going to do is find out what prompt I'm using. And I need to read a hardcover. And I'm just going to go with something simple and read a Clock of Stars Beyond the Mountain, because it's a hardcover book and I'm going to get to it anyway. So I might as well stick it on my TBR. And we'll replace that green 5. And now it's time to grab the cards again so that I can put up a reward prompt, and we'll go with this one. A green 3. Okie dokie. Here are my reward prompts, and I have no idea what they are. I just know that the one I pulled last month is not on here, so we'll go with this one. We'll pull down the prompt for a green 3. And there. I'm running out of reward prompts, so if you guys have any idea for reward or punishments prompts, please let me know, because I could use some more. Because apparently, at the rate I'm going, it's going to be all rewards except for the cards I pull. So, we'll give these a quick shuffle so that they're mixed back in. And once again, we'll slide the green 3 in here and give these a quick shuffle, because I can't pull a green 3 if I don't mix this card back in. I won't be working on a phase now, because we'll reset the board fresh for next month. And, wow, that was not at all what I expected to happen. 1 prompt in, and we've already completed my phase. Okay, so, draw number 2 is a blue 10. And the prompt for blue 10. Randomize your TBR. So I'm going to pull my computer out, and I apologize in advance if this is a bit loud, because I've got a busted fan on this. But I do indeed think that is going to be the easiest way to do this. And I am going to pull up the Google Sheet that I have that has my entire owned TBR on it. And I'll give you a quick glimpse, because we haven't done this before. So, here is my spreadsheet. I have it broken down into sections. So I have the first in a series. Then I have all of my standalones. And there's a lot. I have the next book in the series, some of which are outdated. Like, this is not 3 times I've read this, so I wouldn't be able to read that one. Oops. Wasn't expecting it to go that fast. Then I have a book I can read without needing to check the order. For instance, the field guides or the super editions that I haven't gotten to. And then I have series whose books I can't read yet. My lord, I can't talk tonight. And these would be like, I haven't read the second book, so I can't read the third book, for instance. So these don't really count because I'm not going to include them since I can't read them anyways. So I know I've read both of those, A Thief in ThunderClan and One Star's Confession. So that gives me 279. Like I said, there are a few rows where I've already read it, or I unhauled it, or like this would be 282 right here, so that line can't be used. So we will randomize between 1 and 279. So let's go down here, 279, and see what number we get. 195. So we'll go up and see what book 195 is off of my TBR and if I can read it. I believe I can. I don't think I've read that yet. Okay. Let me just double check because it should be right here. Yes. So 195 is The Last Year of the War by Susan Meisner. I'll see if I can't show you. Right there, 195, The Last Year of the War. Hopefully you can see that. I'll try to zoom in. We'll close this because we don't need this anymore. And this is a historical fiction. I do know that much. And it is set in 1943. And we're following a typical 14-year-old who's aware of the war but distanced from its reach. And then her father, a legal U.S. resident for nearly 2 decades, is suddenly arrested on suspicion of being a Nazi sympathizer. The family is sent to an internment camp in Texas where, behind the armed guards and barbed wire, Elsie feels stripped of everything beloved and familiar, including her own identity. The only thing that makes the camp bearable is meeting fellow internee Mariko, a Japanese-American teen from LA. Interesting. Well, this was not at all on my radar for this month, but I guess I will be reading a probably hard-hitting historical fiction, and I don't think I have read any historical fiction from the internment camps that were in the United States during World War II, so that should be interesting. Draw number 3 is a blue 2. And the prompt for blue 2 is same genre as my last 5-star. Well, I'm going to have to look that up, but probably fantasy? Well, that was surprising. The last book I gave a 5-star to is Nothing But Trouble, which is a cozy mystery. Not what I was expecting. I really was expecting, like, fantasy, nonfiction, or contemporary. Because I knew I hadn't given any of my historical fictions lately a 5-star. And I don't typically give sci-fi or romance 5 stars. Like, they're just not genres that tend to get 5 stars for me. So I was really, really expecting it to be fantasy, maybe a nonfiction, and possibly a contemporary. But I'll take a cozy mystery any day of the week, and I have chosen to read Rusty Murdered Gentleman. It's a year-round Christmas mystery. I don't need to know anything else about that. It's a cozy mystery. It involves Christmas, and we're in December. Yep, that's it. That's my whole reasoning for reading this. I cannot wait to dive into this, and I hope it gives me all of the holiday Christmassy feels. Draw number 4 is a red 5. Oh, I got excited. I knew there were a bunch on red, but not on red 5s. Dang. And the prompt for red 5 is mythology. So, a quick look at the books I was kind of looking at, does not give me any mythology vibes. And a lot of times I end up reading a Rick Riordan Presents for this. But I decided to go with a book I own, and that's Tales of Ancient Egypt. Because it sounded good, and I love Ancient Egypt. And I've had this on my TBR for a while now, and I would like to check it out. It says, in this thrilling collection of the great myths, you'll encounter Amun-Ra, who created all the creatures in the world, Isis searching the waters for her dead husband, Osiris, the Benu bird, and the Book of Thoth. But there are also tales told purely for pleasure about treasure and adventure, and even the first ever story of Cinderella. So we'll see if this is any good, and if it tickles my fancy when it comes to Egyptian myths. I have always loved Ancient Egypt. If you have any recommendations for books with Ancient Egypt mythology, whether they be nonfiction or fiction, let me know in the comment section below, because I absolutely love Ancient Egypt. And before you guys mention it, I have read the ones by Rick Riordan. So, books besides the Rick Riordan ones, thank you, if you have any of them, because it was one of my favorite things I ever learned about in school. Draw number 5 is a red 2. And we're halfway there, and so far, no wilds. Not that that means anything whatsoever. The prompt for red 2 is water on the cover or in the title. I think for this, I'm going to go with Crowfall, because he's on a sea. So there's water all over this title. And it's already on my TBR, and I might as well double up, because I've already put a few books on there that I wasn't necessarily hoping to get to. And of course, I still have the Bone Shard War, which is big, thick, adult fantasy. So, might as well stick an easy book on this TBR, so hopefully I can start January off with a reward and not a punishment. It also means I'm much more likely to get to that book finally, because I have to read it or I'll take a punishment. Draw number 6. I spoke too soon, guys. I jinxed it. I should have never opened my mouth about wilds. Draw number 6, part 2, is a red 11. Reward! Reward! What is it? What is it? Ooh! Read a book under 200 pages. I can do that. I can easily do that. This sucker right here clocks in at exactly 107 pages. I will be reading The Sky Unicorn. This was already on my TBR. This seems like a no-brainer to put on my TBR for under 200 pages, since I'm going to read it anyways. I want to increase my page count. I already have to read this. I'm so excited. That was a great reward. Fantastic reward. Oh, that has made me so happy. Considering I have this, that was a great reward. Draw number 7 is a red 1. And the prompt for red 1 is start a series. I think I'm going to go with my Buzzwordathon pick, because it is the first in a new series. And again, if I'm going to be reading it anyways, I might as well stick it on my TBR, right? Draw number 8. Merry Christmas, guys. Apparently I'm getting a stocking full of coal. Draw number 8, part 2. Seriously. I don't remember being naughty. Draw number 8, part 3 is a reward. I'm gonna need it. Please be kind. Like, I don't know what the best rewards are. I don't remember what all of my rewards are. But let's see. Watch 5 hours of booktube videos. Done. So instead of reading a book for prompt number 8, I just need to sit and watch booktube videos. And I haven't watched any TBR videos, and all of the end of the year lists will be coming out in December of like 2024 goals, and some people put out their top books of the year in December, and I have no idea how they do that, because what if your top book of the year is when you read after you post your video? I will never understand that. Mine always come out in January. Sometimes February, depending on how far behind I am, but I will have plenty of booktube to watch. So thank you for not including a book on there. That will be an easy prompt to fill. And again, I'm gonna need it, because apparently I was very naughty and lots of coal. Draw number 9. See, yellow 2. Oh, so close to that reward. I need to read a book with a number in the title. So for this, I'm going to go with The Multiplying Mysteries of Mount 10. And 10 is a number in the title. 12-year-old painter Esther can't wait to attend Camp Vermeer, the most prestigious art camp around. But when her stepdad accidentally drives up the wrong mountain as it starts to storm, she gets stuck at Camp Archimedes, a math camp. Determined to prove herself to the other campers, she tackles a brain teaser that should be impossible and solves it in a single day. But not everyone is happy about it. Someone wants her out of camp at any cost and starts leaving cryptic, threatening notes all over the grounds. Esther doesn't know who to trust. Will she find out who's responsible and who the next victim will be before something terrible happens? Ooh, okay. This sounds quite interesting and right up my alley. I had a couple of options, but just based on the title, I decided that this one was the most intriguing, and I'm very happy with my choice. And my final regular draw, hopefully, draw number 10, is a yellow 9. And the prompt for yellow 9 is Animal Main Character, my favorite kind of book. And I just so happen to have a Warriors book on my TBR. I will be reading Secrets of the Clans. This is an omnibus that contains 2 books, and I haven't read Secrets of the Clans yet. So here we have Warriors Field Guide, Secrets of the Clans. I am very excited to read this. I've read Code of the Clans, so now it is time to read the Secrets of the Clan, so I can check this book off of my TBR. Obviously, the main characters will be cats because, well, it is a series that follows forest cats that live in clans and have to try to coexist. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, series. And, well, this seems like a no-brainer. So, very excited to be able to stick this on my TBR. And now, because apparently I am very, very naughty, here is Wild Roll number 1. Ooh, okay. I can work with that. That's a 1. I got a 1. So I'll take it because this could otherwise be very, very bad. So Wild 1, draw 1, is a blue 12. We're okay with that. And the prompt for blue 12 is BIPOC rap. So I think for this, I'm going to read Indian No More by Charlene Willing McManus. And this follows Regina Pettit's family, and they've always been Umpqui? Put it on the screen. And her biggest worry is that Sasquatch may exist, but when the federal government enacts a law that says Regina's tribe no longer exists, Regina becomes Indian No More overnight, even though she lives with her tribe and practices tribal customs, and even though her ancestors were Indian for countless generations. It says, in this moving middle grade novel, drawing upon author Charlene Willing McManus's own tribal history, Regina must find out, who is Regina Pettit? Is she Indian, American, or both? And will she and her family ever be okay? So obviously our main character is going to be Indigenous. Our author is Indigenous, and I am quite curious to hear her story and see what this book is all about. I heard something good about it and decided to request it, so I'm excited to be able to immediately stick it on my TBR. Also, if you've got any BIPOC rap recommendations, let me know in the comment section below. I would especially love some Indigenous ones because I feel like those are the ones I see get recommended the least in recommendation videos. So I would love to have some really good recommendations for all of them, but specifically some more Indigenous if you've got any ideas. And it is time to do Wild Roll 2. Let's see what I get this time. A 3. Not as good as a 1. Still better than a 6. Wild 2, draw 1 is a yellow 8. The prompt for yellow 8 over 500 pages. I'll read until the end, which is, I think, the last book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series that I have been putting off because I did not enjoy the last few books enough to want to immediately pick this one up. But I do want to finish it. It's my last series to continue, and this, like I said, I believe is the last book in the series. And it clocks in at 647 pages. So that would definitely count for over 500 pages. And this just means it's much more likely I'm going to get to it. So I might as well put it on my TBR to give myself the oomph to finish the last book that I was counting for my series to continue. Wild 2, Draw 2 is a green 12. And the prompt for green 12 is scribd. So, this is easy. I'm going to read Purloined Poinsettia, which is the 4th book in the Mott's Cold Case Mystery Series. I believe this is on scribd. I would tell you, but I don't update my old phone with the latest version of the download because there's not enough room on my old phone for that. And I can't access scribd from my phone right now without having the new version. And I obviously can't access it on there, and I don't feel like turning my computer back on. So, I'm pretty sure this is scribd. If not, I will pop a different book up here. But I'm almost positive that's where I was planning on reading it, because I don't own it, and it's just an ebook. But this is the 4th book, like I said, in the Mott's Cold Case Mystery Series. And this takes place at Christmas time in London for Mott. And Mott is autistic and asexual. And so I find that extremely relatable. I've put this book off specifically till Christmas time because it takes place at Christmas time. So I figured it was the perfect time to read it. So all in all, that's not a bad prompt. I was planning on getting to that book anyways. And if not, I'm sure that one of the many books that I have on my tentative TBR, at least one of them will have like an audiobook on scribd or something. Wild 2, Draw 3. Well, that prompt just did not want to stay on the board. And it is nature on the cover or in the title. So, for this, I'm going to read Fight and Flight because there's all of these pretty little flowers on the cover, which would be nature. This says, Avery Hart lives for the thrill of her dirt bike, the thump of the drum kit, and the springy high of her trampoline. But after she is diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a disease that affects her joints, doing what she loves puts Avery at risk for major injury, like the dirt bike wipeout that resulted in surgery. Now Avery splits her time between endless physical therapy and worrying that her fun and independence are over for good. So I'm going to assume that this one is Avery because she seems to be wearing a sling. Sarah Bell is familiar with worry. Ever since her aunt died 3 months ago, Sarah has been having intense panic attacks. Drawing in her journal helps some, but she's starting to wonder if she'll ever get a grip on her fear. Just as both girls are reaching peak anxiety about their futures, their present takes a terrifying turn when their school is seemingly attacked. Though they later learn it was a drill, the traumatic experience bonds them in a friendship that will change how they view their perceived weakness and help them find strength and more in each other. I have read Both Can Be True by Jules Macias and really enjoyed it. I thought they did fantastic work on that one, and I'm sure that they did another brilliant job on this one. It sounded really relatable with the anxiety. It is also kind of timely with the idea that their school is attacked and it's just a drill, but like the trauma that even just a drill can cause. I'm not saying it's going to be necessarily the most upbeat, fun, happy-go-lucky kind of read, but I think it is an important read, and like I said, I really loved Jules's first book, so I'm excited to be diving into their second one. That means it is time to give my wild roll number 3 a go and hope that it is, again, kind to me, and we've got a 4. I swear it was a 4. Which is scary, but is still better than a 6. Okay, so Wild 3, Draw 1, is a green 9. We want anything but wilds. Anything at all but wilds. The prompt for green 9 is disability rep or mental health rep. So I have chosen poorly, as apparently I used any books on my TBR that would have had mental health or disability rep, like anxiety rep. Oops. So that means I have to go once again off TBR. It's gonna hurt. And I'm gonna go with A Bird Will Soar by Allison Green Myers. And it says that this is the winner of the Schneider Family Book Award for Best Artistic Expression of the Disability Experience. I'm also assuming that it's listed as disability rep on Goodreads, as it was on my disability mental health shelf as a suggestion. I'm trying to go off of my physical TBR when at all possible. This follows Axel, who loves birds, especially eagles. No one worries that an eagle will fly too far and not come home, a fact Axel wishes his mother understood. Axel knows that his mother is like an osprey, the best of all birds, but it's hard to remember that when she worries and keeps secrets. His dad is more like a wild turkey, coming and going as he pleases. His dad's latest disappearance is the biggest mystery of all. Despite all this, Axel loves his life, especially the time he spends observing the eagle's nests in the nearby woods. But then a tornado damages Axel's home and the nest. Suddenly, his dad is back to repair the damage, and Axel has to manage his dad's presence and his bird's absence. Plus, his mom seems to be keeping even more secrets. But Axel knows another important fact: an eagle's instincts let it soar. Axel must trust his own instincts to help heal his family and the nest he loves. So, I don't quite know exactly what the disability rep is in here, but the fact that it won an award for the artistic expression of a disability experience makes me think there must be a disability in here somewhere, and I guess I will find out as I read. Wild 3, draw 2. As I read 3, I got really excited there because I knew there were 3s, but of course, not red ones. The prompt for red 3 is food or drink on the cover. So for this, I'm going to read Chilled to the Cone by Ellie Alexander, because there are ice cream cones on the front of this cover, which is food. This is the next book in the Bake Shop mystery series, which follows Jules, who runs a bake shop with her mom. Apparently, she's going to be looking into the death of the Wizard, one of the town's most colorful characters, a street performer known for wearing capes and a cone-shaped hat. So, that should be fun. Hopefully, I enjoy it, though I don't think it's going to be as good as the last one, because I gave the last one 5 stars, and I just don't think that this is going to have that same hook, because that one was a little different, but hopefully I will enjoy it. Wild 3, draw 3. Every draw is terrifying, because I don't want another wild. Blue 6. I can do this. Red cover. I'm not sure I can do this. Ooh, I can do this. I'm going to read Sophie Kelly, Pause to Remember. I've had red cover several times before for readathons and struggled mightily with that. But look, it's a red cover. This is the latest book in the Magical Cats mystery series, and let me see, I'm trying to see if it's Christmas time. Does it say? It doesn't say, but there are snowflakes, so I think it's going to be at least Whiskers time. I read Whiskers and combined it with winter. It's not 3:31 in the morning or anything. You guys can't tell, right? We're following Kathleen and her very special kitties, and they get involved in a cold case that is putting people in very hot water. So she has 2 very, very special kitties, Kathleen does, and I find them absolutely charming. And I am so excited to read the newest book in this series. This is, I think, my favorite cozy mystery series, so I'm excited to dive back in, and look how pretty and red it is. Guys, I really thought I was going to struggle to fit that one, but I got really lucky. And for what I'm really hoping is my final prompt of 2023, Wild 4, Draw 4, is a blue 10. Blue 10. I can do a blue 10. And the prompt for blue 10 is image on the spine. Okay, so I had a few, and the moment I saw that this one had an image on the spine, I knew I wanted to put it on my TBR because I really want to read it. And that is Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. That's right. I really wanted to read a romance. So there's our little image on the spine of Astrid and what I'm going to assume is Prue, because that is the name of the second character on the back of the book. This is the sequel to Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I read for the Get a Clue readathon, and I absolutely adored, which was shocking because it has way more spice than I like in my romance. But the non-spice part was everything I could ever want in a romance and then some. So I immediately requested the next 2 books. So, I absolutely want this on my TBR because I plan to devour books 2 and 3. I literally started book 1 at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was still up at like 6:30 because I had to finish it. I couldn't put it down. I legitimately couldn't put it down. And if it wasn't for the spice, that would have been the easiest 5-star I've ever given a romance to in my entire life. So, this seems like a no-brainer. I have been trying to get these books on my TBR for the entire game, and none of them just seem to work in the way I wanted them to. I almost used this for nature on the cover, but I felt like that Fight or Flight had more nature and was more nature-y, and I'm regretting that now because I had to add a book to my TBR, but oh well. I got it on my TBR anyways, and I'm so incredibly excited to read this book and check it out. I need to read it like now, so very happy to be able to add this as the last book of my TBR for 2023. So 18 prompts is not bad, especially considering one of them is to watch 5 booktube videos and I don't actually have to read anything for them. I wish I'd been able to get more of the books that I was hoping to get to this month on my TBR, but I'm not exactly upset by the handful of books that I did add. They seem like they're an eclectic bunch, so hopefully I will enjoy them. But there you have it. That was my last TBR of 2023. Next month, I will get to start Phase 4, which is exciting. Hopefully, I will be able to add a 4th reward to the board, because that would be really, really nice. And yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed my TBR videos for this year. I would love to know what is the #1 priority book you are hoping to get to before the end of the year. I think I did a very good job of telling you that mine is Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. I've got a lot I want to get to, but like if I could only read one, I think it might be that one, which is saying something because I have some very eclectic books on my Phase 10 TBR and some others that are just out of shot right now that you can't see that I very much want to get to as well. And yeah, that's it for Phase 10 for 2023. All of my social media is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me snowman emojis. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!